What is going on, fellas? As always, sorry for a little bit of a delay here. We were ready at 11:55, but we're back. We're back. We got a great lineup for you today. We got a little bit of a recap on the Indiana-UM game. We got, of course, NFL playoffs. We got some updates in the coaching carousel, even some crazy news this morning already. So we got a great rundown. But as always, this is Guys Being Dudes.
Start! It's yours, ladies and gentlemen!
Bam! Let's go, boys. We're back.
Let's go.
We got Wingo next to me today. We got a little bit of a different configuration. Dave's virtual. Wingo's here in Dave's seat. And Bobby, unfortunately, had a little bit of a family emergency that he had to take care of. So he may or may not tune in later. But you got the crew here, and we got Cam Wolfe joining us later, talking all things NFL. So how we feeling, boys?
I'm excited, man. I'm pumped. There's a lot of things going on, not just in the NFL, obviously just ending with the national championship, huge game. I was super pumped to be able to see it be a good game because I almost wasn't expecting that. And then just looking at this crazy coaching carousel, right, in the NFL, it's I have no idea what's going to happen. So it's definitely thrilling to be involved in all that.
Hell yeah. Dave, how we feeling over there? I know you're down in the Florida Keys right now.
I am. Well, dude, people might think I'm in Cancun after Wingo sent my ass here after the Pats continue to just really rub it in at this point, and he's even taking my chair. But hey, I'm feeling good, boys. I'm feeling good. I'm just like everything Wingo said. I'm excited to talk about. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. That game was incredible on Monday, and then I think we're in for a generational playoff game, specifically in one of them with that Seahawks Rams. So excited to talk about it.
I don't know if I'm trusting any of your takes.
hey, listen, I hit the Rams one. You were all over the Bears, which that game was insane too.
It was insane. No, yeah, we got a great lineup of NFL playoffs. College football is officially done, which is crazy. But yeah, let's jump right into that game. You know, to your point, Wingo, I think the game was a lot closer than some people thought. I genuinely believe that it was going to be a good game. And I want to kind of start off right off the bat. I think at the end of the day, we had the two best college football teams in the championship game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I fully agree. When I was watching the first quarter, right, and I almost was like, I almost turned the TV off because I was like, this Indiana team is dominant. They're not making mistakes. And Miami's going to have to, really gut up here to stay in this game. And you saw that, right? I said it was going to come down to Ruben Bain and Messidor coming off the edge. They were able to get to Fernando. Everybody saw that early hit they took on Fernando to the face was having him bleed. And that's what they want to do, right? You want to disrupt the quarterback. So in doing that, Miami was able to play really hard, play physical. It was good to see Moton back out there, disrupting the D-line and the interior at the nose. And then Miami kept it a close game. They tried to eliminate the penalties. They tried to eliminate a lot of things. And then Mark Fletcher. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Mark Fletcher is just a beast, being able to run the ball at his size. It almost reminds me of like a Derrick Henry 2.0. To be able to do that, Carson Beck, being calm, trying not to make mistakes, just doing what's necessary. Obviously not at the end. But no, it was definitely thrilling to see a good game. And then Mendoza obviously put on a performance that he did.
Oh, yeah.
Has Mendoza.
Yeah. Dave, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I agree with most of what's been said. What's funny, though, is like after that first half, while it was still only 10-0, it felt like Indiana was like just going to run away with it. It seemed like Miami wasn't able to do anything. And then that second half was one for the ages. That second half alone is a legendary game. Like that, there was so much that happened, and even all the way going to the end of how it ended. The fact, to be honest, when we talked about Miami being the team that is going to make the big mistakes, and they did definitely have some mistakes in this game for sure. But it really, at the end, when Indiana had that false start on 2nd and 1, and then then the roughing the passer on the other drive, I'm like, oh my God, like everything that everyone says about this team, they're doing the opposite, and they're about to blow this game to Miami. And listen, at the end of the day, they were able to get it done. Carson Beck does throw an interception, and it goes down as one of the best college football games, and probably it's probably the best championship we've had in the last 5-10 years. Like, it's got to be up there. So I thought it was great, and I agree with you in the sense of the two best teams. They proved it, and that game was incredible, an incredible end to an incredible college season. Like one of the best college football seasons in a long time.
And it's crazy to think too, if you take away that blocked punt, right, which is crazy to see. It was a blatant mistake. It must have been, wrong counting down on the line, and saw him last minute, didn't really go for him. But the blocked, and then we had a missed field goal as well. And those are just pivotal mistakes that you have in the game, and you're going to look back and be like, wow, like we could have won a national championship. And that's where you go back to the details and doing all the things the right way. And I know that's hurting in that locker room right now, and it's definitely something that's going to haunt them for a little while.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even that.
I've got one thing.
Yeah,
Do you, obviously as a player, right? Like, would you rather have just Indiana converted the first down and just end it there? Like, I feel like the interception is just an added, like, oh my God, we really had a chance, because they were down 6 with a chance to score a touchdown, and the interception's even more of a dagger. At that point, do you just hope they got the first down and it's over?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because when you really look at it, those are the times where you're like anything can happen, right? And you're like, and you've gotten so far. Why? Not only is it a bad look on you and your team and you going to that next level, but why give up, right? Give it your all, do all those things. So when they did get that, they got the ball back. It's like, oh, we have a chance. It's the momentum. It's going all crazy. And then I saw someone, it was funny because someone compared it to the Tua throw to Devontae Smith in the national championship. The throw just looked a little bit different. But yeah, man, I say I've seen some crazy games, not only just NFL and college football and all around sports. You never know when something's going to happen, whether or not it's a fumble. You look at, Miami when they played Georgia Tech, I believe it was a year ago or 2 years ago, right? They could have easily kneeled the ball and the game would have ended. They decided to run it. Georgia Tech stripped it and went back and scored. Georgia Tech could have easily been like, oh, the game's over. There's no way. It's first down. And what did they do? They had a turnover and ended up winning the game. So definitely something to always kind of keep in mind.
Yeah. I mean, that false start penalty basically just opened up the door, right? Because you're talking about they run it there, they get the first down there. Yeah, it's 2nd and 1. Then they get the false start, and you're like, okay, this how they do the percentages in real time, right? Indiana had a 99.9% chance of winning that game after that first down run, right? It's 2nd and 1, run out the clock, and it's pretty much game over. You get that first down. Then all of a sudden that false start happens, and that percentage probably drops, to 75%. They kick the field goal, it's still floating there at 75%, and then boom, 2 big plays, and all of a sudden they're at the 50-yard line. You're like, holy shit, UM might actually pull this off. But yeah, unfortunately at the end, well, not unfortunately, I wasn't going for UM, but
yeah. I was about to say, I was like, listen.
Unfortunately for UM fans, which Pooch, we'll throw it over to you now and get your kind of final thoughts on the game. Beck made a mistake and probably shouldn't have made that throw either way, right? Whether he put a better ball there, I don't even know if it was the right read in that situation. I know there's people saying Malachi was coming underneath and maybe
some people were saying that he was concussed.
Yes, I did hear that too. I mean,
I think he was just going for it. I think he was honestly just trying to have a big time play, big time moment. If you saw the coverage, the safety was kind of trickling out in the middle. Last minute, right, rotated over to the half and made the throw to kind of try to zip it in there maybe when he should have let it air if he wanted to have a chance to marry on. And, that was that. It's just kind of didn't go his way.
Didn't go well. It didn't go well. Pooch, give us your thoughts on the game from a UM fan.
Listen, dude, I mean, it was a game for an ages. And, I mean, as a fan in any sport, I mean, when your team has a chance to win, that's all you can really ask for in a game like this. I mean, this is one of those games, and I really truly believe this in football, that football can be decided in 3 plays. Throughout the whole game, there's 3 plays that can decide a game. And unfortunately for us, I think those 3 plays, we're on the bad end of those plays. Obviously the blocked punts, those huge 4th down plays by Mendoza, the back shoulder throw to Becker, and then obviously his Heisman moment run. I mean, and then, the missed field goal. I mean, there were so many plays in that game that even if one of them went our way, I mean, the whole game could have been different. I mean, you take away the blocked punt, I mean, there's so many scenarios that game would have gone. But, I mean, look, bro, they fought their life. Obviously, we got shut out in the second half. You thought that this offense had no life. And, man, they came in and, they had a chance, man. And, I think that, I truly believe that Marion was open on that deep shot. I think that he actually had a chance to go get that. But I think it was just, an aggressive play. There's 40 seconds on the clock. There's time to go. But, they tried taking the Hail Mary shot, and I believe that ball 5 yards further, it could have been a completion, but I mean, it was a heck of a run by the Canes, man. No one thought we'd even have a chance in that game against Indiana, and, those guys left there bloody. I mean, that was one of the most physical games I've ever seen on both ends, and, man, credit to Signetti and the boys over there in Mendoza. I mean, they really are, a heck of a team, made little mistakes, and, and for the Hurricanes, I think this is a great building block to show that, how you can win and how you can build this program to, get there next year. And that's all you can ask for, be in the conversation again next year and have a chance to, run it back again.
You got the ibis watching over your shoulder over there.
I know, man.
He's like sad in the corner.
He's sad in the corner.
It's crazy that as a fan, you can be sad after your team just made a national championship. You're able to watch at home, and they had a chance to win and be sad about it. But, there's so much good to take away from it. Obviously, we're losing a couple guys to the draft. A lot of them are announcing. We're getting a couple guys coming back. I know Moden, he just announced he's going to be coming back. Mohamed Touré is going to be coming back. But obviously, you lose Bain, you lose Mezzador. We're losing a lot of guys on that front on that front line.
Well, you just got the guy Damon Wilson from
we just got
Missouri.
David Wilson, so we're reloading that team. And I think we have the formula. It's physical football. And, you saw two teams that play a physical brand of football go all the way and have an absolute heavyweight match at the top. So, I wouldn't be surprised if some teams try to take a page out of our book and, get those big boys up front to play some ball. But like I said, man, it was an incredible game. Came down to the wire, and it ended on a big mistake, by Carson Beck. But I hate that people are giving him crap because he really was the guy that got us there. He was phenomenal throughout the whole run, especially that Ole Miss and Ohio State game. He was clinical, and even through that second half in the comeback, man, he was slinging it around, made a huge throw on that third down play.
That third down play was
Daniels
huge.
running around the pocket. So he did a lot of great things, man. But I really do think he got messed up on that hit. He tried getting it back up and getting fought, but I don't think he was okay after that hit. He was his bell was definitely rung. And I think Indiana's coach even said on that long play, their guys weren't ready for that deep shot. Marion was in a position to catch that ball, but it was not only a bad throw, but Marion's like, I didn't see the ball in the air. So he didn't even try to come back and make a play on the ball. But, like I said, 2 or 3 plays can decide a football game, and we're on the wrong end of those plays. But, one of those scenarios flip, and we can be having a completely different conversation.
It's fair. And I'm not discrediting any of this, but in the gist of this conversation, we haven't also give Indiana credit enough in this game. I mean, you brought it up, right? The aggressiveness of the UM defense really, really trying to rattle Mendoza early on in that game, right? The bloody lip, taking shots, right? Like him getting up, forcing a lot of pressure, having to get out of the pocket, right? Like they did what they needed to do to disrupt Mendoza. But when Mendoza needed to make plays and that Indiana team needed to make plays, goddamn did they make plays, right? We're going to like that 4th and 5 play has got to be at the end of the day the talk of the
he needs
of the
a
game.
statue. He needs a statue.
100%.
It's absurd. I mean, one, the call, right? We're all here texting in the group chat like, yo, what the hell is he doing going for this right now, right?
Signetti holding his balls.
That was the second 4th down play of that drive. That was the second time they went for 4th down.
They went for it twice on 4th down.
Both 4th and 5 too.
Yeah, and the first one I was okay with. The second one, you're like, bro, just take the points. There's I think 9 minutes left in the game at that point.
Yeah.
You're like, just take it. You force them to have to kick, score 7 with 9 minutes left, and obviously that ended up being the difference, right? Because UM's offense could not be stopped in that second half, and they were scoring pretty much every single time they touched the ball, right? And then here he is going for it, and Fernando, I don't know if you saw him talking about it. I think it was last night on Jimmy Fallon. He said that the running play was actually designed to the left.
Yep.
And he's like, oh yeah, my instinct got me to go right, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm seeing 2 guys that are about to pop me. I get hit once, I take that first hit, and then he's like, shit, I just took that hit, so I'm just gonna die for the end zone now because he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna get up. And shit, he got in, and ironically enough, the guy that hit him, I think getting into the end zone was the same guy that popped him last year at the end of the Cal game.
Yep.
So talk about like a crazy full circle moment.
Yeah, I mean, that was Indiana, all the credit to them.
Yeah.
You look at both running backs, complete backs, who was able to run the ball, be successful. The O-line, fully complete, right? MVP, we talked about it in the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Charlie Becker. He's like a freaking Chris Collins young Chris Collins out there. That guy is special. And obviously Surratt, and just they have a fully complete team. And when you add Mendoza to kind of pilot everything around, that guy's going to play in the NFL for a long time. And I'm just super excited to see his journey from here on out.
Absolutely. Go Hoosiers. Congrats on Fernando, the Miami boy, now big time celebrity. Apparently, it was on Today's show.
Yeah.
Fat.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
It's crazy. Shout out to the Hoosiers, but great game. College football's over, but we still got a little bit of football left here. We're here in the conference championship game, so we got 2 big games. We got Seattle and the Rams, and then we got Broncos and Patriots in the AFC. So, Dave, I know you thought the Patriots were not going to get here. So why not? Why not? Wingo and Dave. Wingo, tell me why the Patriots are here.
Here we go. Mickey Mouse, run.
It's time. Week 2 of this long war. I was actually almost a little bit disappointed. The Patriots did make a lot of mistakes last game that I didn't think they were going to make. So I'm going to say it again. They're not going to make that in this game. Obviously the Broncos, losing Bo Nix is huge, right? He was a guy that has been playing at an elite level, slinging the rock, communicate, is calm, able to get everybody lined up. But the Patriots, once again, the Wisconsin boys are out there. They're playing at a high level. The defense, the offense, the special teams. The special teams is what they pride themselves on, right? You look all the way back to a guy like Matthew Slater, who played in the league forever, was get a Hall of Famer for just playing special teams. Like, that organization has a way of doing things and getting things done. So, I see Patriots pulling away with this one. Obviously, the Broncos not having their coach, or not their coach, their quarterback. But yeah, I'm going to shoot you down again this week, and it's going to be the Patriots.
Listen, Wingo. I mean, the Patriots quarterback, Drake May, has more fumbles than touchdowns on this run. This is a Mickey Mouse run if I've ever seen one. This is insane, the luck they're getting. I mean, poor Bo Nix. Bo Nix sacrificed himself to take down Josh Allen. And now Jarrett Stidham is going to have to step up to the plate. I don't know if we have this tweet, but if not, I'm rocking with Nick Foles. Did you guys see this Nick Foles tweet?
I did see that. Yeah.
Let me just find this for you guys about about his whatever. Can't find it. Basically saying, listen, the last time the Pats went up against the backup, they lost in the Super Bowl. I'm riding with Jarrett Stidham this week, all right?
Oh, yeah.
What I will say about the Patriots is that in this game against the Texans, I mean, outside of making Stroud look terrible, I mean, he's become the new 9 meme. Like, the poor guy is, I mean, it went from 9 to Tua to now Stroud. So it's jumping around. But that defense, I will give its credit because they played lights out. But, man, I'm telling you, man, I get it. I don't think they're terrible, but, like, I don't think they're this super crazy AFC horse. Like, I just don't. I think the NFC, and we'll get to that later, is going to pound either one of them. But since we're in the AFC, listen, it's going to be tough. We got a backup quarterback, but I'm still going to ride with the Broncos at home. The Patriots, I think the playoff stat, I don't think they've ever won in Denver. So I'm going to keep riding with the football gods and hope that they reward Broncos for taking down Josh Allen. And I have one final hate watch left, and it's that one.
I will say this, and I don't think, at least I haven't seen much about it, but that Houston Patriots game, weather was an insane factor in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, how many turnovers did it end up being? Was it
the reason they won?
It was at least 8.
9? Yeah.
I think it might have gone to 10, honestly.
Yeah,
I forget how many it was, but it was at 8 at one point. I mean,
I think Stroud at 10 alone.
Drake May honestly could have had 4 turnovers in that game, though.
Yep.
I mean, I think he fumbled 3 times or 4 times. Only 1 was lost. And Will Anderson is a freaking beast, bro. What the hell, bro? It's like he's going against a good tackle, too. Like that guy. Who's the left tackle over there in New England?
Gosh.
I forget his name.
Will Campbell.
Yeah.
Yep. Will Campbell
Yeah.
from LSU.
Stud. And Will was just doing whatever he wanted and stripped Drake May like willingly.
Yep.
So weather played a factor, and Orlovsky, I saw, did an apology because he was like, I think 31 other quarterbacks could have got it done, this week. And then he's like, my bad, CJ, I didn't mean it, But reality is I know. Reality is like, if you're CJ Stroud, you got to play a better game. And we were talking about in the chat, like, was there going to be a move at quarterback in the middle, of this game? But yeah, Patriots defense also, I think, deserves some credit there. Played really well when they needed to. And it was always like, CJ threw a pick, and then boom, here comes Will Anderson, strip sack on Drake May. It was just a crazy game. But I do think that, unfortunately, the Pats are going to just be too much for Stidham in this game. Broncos defense is good, right? Like, we know they'll keep them in that game. But it'll be very similar like what we saw this week, right? Like, Pats will hang around. Their defense will also play well, but it'll become too much late in that game. And Drake May he's been making plays with his legs all playoffs too. But Dave, we may be seeing the Pats in the Super Bowl, bro.
I mean, it's an absolute nightmare scenario, but it's because, you know what's even the worst part is, I mean, we're only 2 episodes into this thing. I've been calling the Patriots fraud since week 1. All right, so this has been a slow burn that is going to be really bad if they freaking win it all. But I really, again, I'll hold strong. I'll defend home turf, and I will become the biggest. If they get to the Super Bowl, I might paint my face in whatever color is coming out of the NFC because I cannot let them win.
I feel that. And I mean, kind of going back a little bit, one more before we kind of preview this game a little bit more, but Josh Allen, right? We were talking about like this path in the AFC. Like, if there was a year to get it done, it was supposed to be this year, right? Like, that's what it felt like. Obviously now McDermott gets fired. Josh Allen, I think, had 4 turnovers in that game. Like, is Josh Allen going to be able to get it done?
I am a firm believer that no.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to get it done.
Oh yeah, we go.
He's had a lot of opportunities, right? He's got the pieces around him, and you just can't get over that hump. Obviously, McDermott, like there had to be a change made. Honestly, I didn't expect it.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to happen. So when I saw it, I was very kind of blown away by it. But obviously, they just haven't got it done. So if you're not getting it done, something's got to change. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter at what level you're at. If it's not working, make a change. And that's what they're doing. So, hopefully they're able to add some pieces or change some around, but they got to go back to the drawing book. They got to go back to the board, figure out what's going wrong and change it. I don't know whether or not it's Josh Allen or whatever it might be, but that's your guy, right? He's supposed to be the superhero. They put the cape on in the big time moments to make those plays. And when it's came down to it, in the game that matters the most, it hasn't happened. You see it sometimes in the regular season, early in the playoffs, to get over that hump, to get to the Super Bowl. It has not happened, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
I don't even know how they were in that game. I mean, with the 4 or 5 turnovers, and here they are 30-30 in OT. Like, it's like any other team would have gotten blown out.
Yep. The fact that he turned the ball over as many times as he did, and they had a chance to win in OT. I mean, you can talk about that, that interception in the back, Brandon Cooks, this guy fighting for the ball. Yeah, that was a controversial call. I mean, the Bills could have very easily won that game with as bad as he played. So, I mean, the fact that he played that bad, it shows how good he is and how good that team is to stick around with all those mistakes. But, yeah, I mean, he was shooting himself in the foot all night long.
Cue the Michael.
Was it the right call?
I had to take a second about it. Was it the right call? I think it was. When you look at it, the full control, but he was kind of on the ground and then rolling over him. So it's super controversial. And now, now it's just going to go back and forth with other games if something happens like that similar.
There was already stuff that happened, I think, in the later slot the next day that there was
another
catch
that was just like it. So I don't know. I think it was an interception. When he played it fast, I thought, he immediately got it. I think so. Look at it like soccer, right? When a guy gets kicked in the shin, you're selling it, right? You're selling that. Yeah. Oh, he kicked me, so you get the penalty. He sold the interception. He got up. So everyone's thinking it's an interception. So those are little things that you got to learn. Like play it off. And I know receivers get taught that. When you catch the ball, you might know it hit the ground in between your arms, but you get up and you're I don't know what you're doing, but you're saying first down. So things like that, I think it was a catch.
Yeah. I mean, Joey B, that I don't think he's tweeted in 2 years, comes out and tweets like basically saying like, the refs got it right. So, let's stop talking about it. You guys don't know ball. I know ball. You don't. And it's the right call. So, I'm going to roll with Joey B and saying that they got it right.
I mean, I'm going to roll with Joey B on that just because it cost the Bills a win. So, I'm rolling with it too. I kind of want to touch on something Wingo said that he doesn't think Josh will ever get it done. I disagree. Because he ain't doing it in Buffalo, all right? If Josh wants to win, he's got to leave that loser franchise who can't win anything, all right?
And I want to talk about the loser franchise when we get into the coaching carousel, because I'm sure you guys saw it, that whole thing with the GM, conversation and what he said about Keon Coleman and all that. So I want to touch on you going deeper into, maybe it is a loser franchise, and that's kind of why they haven't been able to get over the hurdle. So let's circle back to that, because I do think there's something there. But outside of that, obviously the Bo Nix injury, very devastating there. Kind of a weird injury.
Yeah.
And I think it happened on that scramble play
Out of nowhere.
when he rolled out to the left and he finished the game, right? So props to him for kind of finishing out that game with a broken ankle.
Yeah, definitely was something where the adrenaline was kicking. There had to have been something prior. Whether or
He
not it
limped
was
a little bit, I saw, too.
Maybe there was a fracture or something going on, and finally kind of that was the last stretch of it.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what's going on in his head right now.
Yeah.
Finally being able to get there and, you're making that leap as a quarterback, and now I just am picturing that team meeting, right, the next day, and everyone's looking like, oh, my gosh, I can't even believe this. But yeah, I mean, good for him, sacrificing his body to knock Josh Allen out of it. So hopefully your boy's able to come in and get something done, at least make it a good game for the Pats.
Yeah. Stidham versus Drake May. Who would have guessed that, right? And then how crazy would it be? We got our boy over there in Seattle dealing with the oblique injury and Sam Darnold. All of a sudden, the oblique gets a little tweaked up a little more, and then we're getting a Drew Lock and a Stidham Super Bowl.
I got a graphic for you guys. I got a graphic right here. Right
there we go. There are the boys. Let's see. Hopefully, all four of them, or who the two are after this week. But Drew Lock Stidham Super Bowl would be insane. All right, so yeah, let's jump over to Seattle. All right, this is the juggernaut of the weekend.
This is my Super Bowl.
And the Rams. Yeah, it does feel that way, right? It feels like whoever kind of is going to win out of the NFC is kind of the better team compared to anyone in the AFC. So, Dave, I'll start with you on this side. Talk to me kind of what your thoughts are on the weekend, right? That Bears game was crazy. Rams end up pulling it off. And then, Seattle was dominant in that game against the 49ers. I had called it as possibly the game of the weekend, and they proved me wrong.
The power plant got to it.
This Seattle's just looks so damn good. And then opening kickoff, it was just dominant in every phase.
Yeah, they're looking like the best team in the NFL. They, like we said, I thought that it would be a blowout, but I also didn't think to this extent. I think I predicted like 28-10 or something, like 41-6 or something. It was crazy. I think this team is so well-rounded and they're so well-coached that I really think that between them or the Rams are the two best teams. I'm backing the Rams because, like I mentioned last week, I'm all in on the Rams this year. I do think that this is just Stafford's magical season. Like, this is kind of go out on top. I don't know if he's going to retire or not, but like this is like almost a perfect send-off. And I really do think the Rams are just as good, if not like they're like right here, neck and neck. They split the regular season series. They're both playing so well. I mean, the Rams, the fact that they won that game, the Bears were the hottest team in the NFL and the luckiest team I've ever seen. I mean, I thought, like, again, toward the end of the game, I'm like, I think I said this last week, I'm like, they just somehow find a way to win. And that Caleb Williams play is one of the craziest plays I truly have ever seen in a playoff game. And the fact that they survived that, it might be the Rams year, baby. But I'm expecting this game to be really close, high action. Like, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you now. After last week, you talk about it, the send-off for Matthew Stafford. He's been playing at elite level in the MVP conversations. They do have a good team, but Seattle is just, they've been different. I saw the video that they had in the team meeting. I think it was 2 years ago or something, and they talked about having the journey in the championship. It's going to be 30 degrees, wet and windy, and they're there now, and like they've prepped for this, and they have a team that's bought in. So I'm still going to roll with Seattle. I just think they're firing on all phases right now. Sam Darnold is using all of his weapons. It sucks to lose a big-time guy like Charbonnet, right? He's their touchdown back. He's their guy they're bringing in the short distance and all those things. But Kenneth Walker is playing at an elite level right now as well. So I think he's been able to get the job done, and Seattle's going to come out with this one.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up Kenneth Walker, but they did lose Charbonnet, which is huge, right? Because you're able to kind of ride that tandem between the two, right? Charbonnet being that physical guy, and then Kenneth just kind of being that elusive back, which, he had a monster game against San Francisco. But I do think that plays a factor, right? Because I think that opens up Kenneth Walker's game, right? When you're able to ride kind of that two-back system.
He's a stud, man.
Yeah. He's a stud. And you saw it last week. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week as well. Like, that 49ers defense was banged up, and it was eventually going to catch up to them. and it felt like it did, obviously, this week. But that's just how good Seattle is, right? Like, they are going to beat you in every phase. I mean, opening kickoff, Shaheed, who's been great for them since they acquired him in the middle of the season.
I wonder who got him over there. Huh?
He's been electric on special teams, right? And then obviously Sam Darnold's been very efficient. You need him to make plays, he'll make plays, and then you're riding with that defense that's they just fly to the ball. They're physical.
Yeah. One of the things I can see that's going to change with the offense, right, is you're going to see Shaheed be a lot more involved in end-around runs. You're going to see, because they got to take a little bit off Kenneth Walker. Yeah. Obviously, having the 1-2 punch with Charbonnet, but now, right, Shaheed's got to do some end-around runs. They got to have him maybe in the backfield to motion it out wide. Certain things. I think they're going to mix it up this week with just having some different looks, just to because when you game plan for two running backs that are two different styles, it's difficult, right? And now you have just a specific back that does one thing. It changes your game plan a little bit. So I think Seattle's got to come out with something that throws them off a little bit, that's able to get mismatches with the backers, mismatches with some of the guys they have coming out of the backfield and in the slot. So I think that's something Seattle's definitely got to put in their game plan this week. That,
and I mean, you got to assume that the Rams are going to just kind of try to load the box, right, and force Darnold to be the guy to beat them, right? I mean, it felt like and
they've got weapons too.
Yeah, they do. And it felt like last year when we saw Sam Darnold get eliminated in that first round, like that was the game plan. Like, we got to force Sam to be the guy. I don't think the 49ers were ever really able to get to that because of the fact that, opening kickoff, they returned, like they're already playing down. So I think it kind of shifted the way how they wanted to approach that game. Obviously, 49ers did a great job of kind of taking McCaffrey away in that game as well. Purdy was under pressure that whole game. So I think defense really won in that game, and Sam Darnold didn't really have to do that much. If this game becomes one of those games where like Darnold has to play from behind, this is where we have to see if Darnold could really be that guy, right? Because we know Stafford can be that guy. He's been doing it all year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Dave,
listen, the last time these two teams played, it was probably the best game in the regular season, and he had to do just that, because I think if my memory serves me correct, the Seahawks were down big, and then Sam Darnold leads this crazy big comeback to win it at the end. I am curious to see if he can do that, especially now that we mentioned he is dealing with an injury. He's a little banged up, but I really do think that team is as solid as they. I think they both are, man. I really think that this game is going to be whoever has the ball last type thing. Like, whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, and really whoever the luck of the draw who comes out with the ball last. I really think so. Like, I think that these two teams are so evenly like balanced and so close that you can coin flip this game for me. Like, I think they're both really good. And again, like, these are the two best teams in the NFL.
I already know who our dude of the week is next week, because he was my dude all damn year long. And it's Myers, the kicker for Seattle, baby. He is a dog, bro. And I'm bringing him up because, like you said, who's going to have the ball last, right? He's been so good for them and has just pretty much made everything all year, right? It doesn't matter, over 50 yards, like he's hitting it. And I remember in my fantasy run this year, right, I was 2-7. Oh, Lord. Like, battling for, I'm like, bro, here I am. I'm going to have to battle for the damn fucking last seed and not try to do the punishment. And are we good over here? Oh. I'm off screen right now.
I'm just watching.
Yeah, you're talking about the kicker. That's what makes teams elite, right? When you're able to have a kicker that can, drill it from anywhere around on the field, left hash, right hash, in the middle, even when you're getting past it in that logo area, that's something that can be a game changer when you're doing play calls. Your play calling completely changes when you have a guy that can just be automatic. And I think the kicking game is going to change. You look at guys like Cam Little at Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
He's hitting 70-yarders now. And I think, if I'm Jacksonville and I'm getting to that 50-yard line, I'm kicking the field goal every single time and just chipping away at points and chipping away at points. So I think that's something they definitely have.
That's a great point.
That they're going to use, and it's going to be really successful for them.
Do we think that they've made kicking too easy? Like, isn't there like an adjustment this year, like with the balls or something? Like, am I wrong to think that? Like, is that just like a fake conspiracy that I read? But like, I'm pretty sure they made a change to like the balls and the kicking. Yeah. Again, I don't know, because it seems so easy this year. Like, these guys, like you said, like This guy from Jacksonville breaks a record, and then I think he like basically was going to break it again. Like he's kicked like 460 yarders. I'm like, this guy's insane. All outdoors, not even in a dome. Like, did they make kicking too easy? Because it's insane. Because like you said, you get to the 50, and you're like, all right, well, I guess we're kicking a field goal. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's been crazy what these. Granted, it's obviously the evolution of kickers now, right? Like they're so good, but holy cow, man, some of these guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely they have a rule with like the kicking balls and the regular balls, and they try and switch them out. And sometimes, there's so many different factors that go into it. Are you playing in a dome? Are you playing outside? Do you get the laces when you kick it? Is it the right ball? There's so many different factors. So props to those guys, right? I know everybody hates on them, right? You miss an extra point or miss a field goal. When I look at college game day, right, when they have something like the random draw where they get to have a chance to kick the field goals. It's actually hilarious because during the Miami game, I actually had the chance to go to the tailgate and actually be one of the 300 people that got the ticket. Little did I figure out after waiting there for 6 hours that any former college athlete can't do the kick. So I found that out after getting my ticket. So, but yeah, it's kicking is hard, man. So props to these guys, and when they're able to get it done, it's amazing just to see how electric they are, how fired up their team are just about it, because it is a very stressful position
for sure. And like you talk about like a guy like Cam Little, defenses are going to strategize completely different, knowing that a guy can go up there and kick a 65, 70-yard field goal, right? And you're going to also approach your offensive game plan completely different too, because like when you need those points, right? End of a half, right? Obviously end of a game, like now all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. I mean, if he gets to the 50, we might have a chance, right? Which before that wasn't even a thought.
Yep.
It's insane. It's insane. But give me, Dave, give me your prediction for this week. Score predictions. Who you got? I mean, I know who you got, but I want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm still rocking with the Rams. Like I mentioned last week, my last future left. I'm riding the Stafford year, but I do think that this is going to be a crazy game, one-score game. Give me 27-26 Rams. I think it's legit going to be a one-point game.
Wow.
That's pretty nuts because I think the spread is 2.5 as well. But I think it's going to be like a 31-34. It's going to go all the way to the wire. I think Seattle ends up pulling it off. But yeah, man, I think, looking back at their regular season matchup and what they had, I think it's going to be very, very similar to that. I do, however, think in the beginning of the game, it's going to be slow. I do think, after last week of firing out and putting up points so quickly, I think there's going to be so much adrenaline and so much stuff going on all at once. They're going to come out, defensive battle. They're going to come out on defense, firing on all angles. And then once you get to the, middle to end of that second quarter to come out at halftime, it's just going to be an air raid, and these guys are going to go crazy.
So, yeah, the over-under is 47 right now. So
take it.
Take the over. Take the over, boys.
Yeah.
I was looking. Weather's not really going to be a factor. I mean, it might be 30s, maybe even 40s by, at game time. So
that's going to be warm compared to what the Rams played in this weekend.
Exactly.
This past weekend.
Exactly. So weather's not going to be a factor. I don't know what the weather's like in New England. Let me actually take a quick look at that.
It's in Denver.
Or Denver, yeah. Which I don't think it's going to be that bad either. There's a crazy snowstorm.
Storm coming up.
Yeah, like a crazy ice storm. So they play Saturday or Sunday?
I think both games are Sunday.
Both games, yeah, Sunday at 3 p.m. So Sunday, no, it's going to be fucking freezing.
And whoever said it last, you were talking about that weather is
the
not
high
a
is
factor.
22 degrees.
Yeah,
so.
whoever said that weather's not a factor. Obviously, once you get in those circumstances,
super harsh conditions.
Yeah.
But I think, when I look back to even, like the Patriots game last week, guys are missing tackles. Like if you pull up a stat for all the missed tackles, because you don't want to throw your arms.
No, absolutely not.
You're throwing a shoulder here and that. And you're just bop, bop like a little pinball machine because it's so dang cold. And it hurts to hit that turf or grass or whatever it might be. So the weather is definitely going to have a big factor. And, it's going to be a lot of running the ball. And there's going to be a lot of, I think, potential turnovers or interceptions down in the back end.
What's the coldest game you ever played in?
The coldest game I actually ever played in was, I think it was 17 degrees. One of them was in 8th grade. I just decided to completely not play because I was just too cold. The other one was
Coach.
I wasn't having it. And the other one was up in Missouri. We played Missouri. I believe it was in 2022, I think. And it was about 17 to 19 degrees. And when I tell you that you're putting the you're putting stuff all over your arms, because it feels weird when you put on leggings and you get hot sometimes. So what a lot of people do is they put on, I'm having a brain fart of what it's called, but you put it all
cream or whatever.
You put it all over your body, and it kind of helps insulate you. And then sometimes when you're out there, you don't really realize it because you're going and you're rolling. So that's good. But the second you get over to that bench, if you don't have a heated bench or a little bike to roll on, it's wraps. I'm not even going over to the bench to watch the film. I'm going right to the bike and the heater. You bring the iPad to me because I can't do it in the cold.
I mean, shout out to the crews on the sideline, bro, because they don't
running out, giving them the jacket,
a timeout on the field, and they're running out, putting the jacket immediately on them. It is so crazy how much shit goes into running a game day operation. It's wild. But yeah, that about does it. So you got the Seattle. I got Seattle as well. I think it's also going to be a really close game.
Rams.
I'm just picking the opposite, so we just go to
war every week.
Hey, listen, we split it last week, Wingo. All right, let's see if it's the same thing too. It was the Rams Bears, and then it was Patriots Texans. We're running it back, Rams Patriots. So let's freaking do it, baby.
I got Rams tying it up late, and my boy Myers kicking the game winner to send them to the Super Bowl.
How far? You have to guess the distance.
56.
Oh yeah.
He misses it. They go to OT. He makes it. They're going to the damn Super Bowl.
That would be legendary.
That would be lit. And then, so then you got in the Super Bowl, you're going to have Seattle.
I'm going to still roll with Seattle and the Patriots.
And
I think the Patriots pull this off. It would be a cool story to see the Broncos hang in there a little bit. But I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. The defense, if you look at Pat Surtain is a little bit banged up too. He had the stinger in his shoulder. Nick Bonito's been playing great. I just don't think on offense that they're going to be able to have the whole chemistry. That is a tough thing to do when you've had chemistry throughout the entire year and Bo Nix gets everyone rolling and you just have, no knock to him, but it's hard to have that. You're at a big time game. It's a big level of competition. And I think Seattle or the Patriots are actually going to take advantage of that, and it's not going to be too close. I take them by at least. I'm taking up my own spread at 13.5.
Well, can I jump on that spread? I'll take plus 13.5.
It's right now plus 4.5.
4 is what it is?
4.5.
Look at that. Vegas knows. They're like, Jared Stidham time. It's moved. I think it's opened at 5.5. So listen, Vegas knows something.
Take the Broncos.
Vegas knows something.
I got New England, unfortunately, and Seattle in the Super Bowl, but I got Seattle winning it all next week, or in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we got electric playoffs. I'm excited. All right.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Yeah, go for it, Dave. No, jump in.
No, I was going to say, like the more I think, listen, obviously, thinking of the actual scenario of Jared Stidham just upsetting the Pats would be incredible.
It would be.
And so, my mind saying just don't be an idiot, go to the Pats. But my heart rides and my hate watches, baby. Broncos Nation, let's ride.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, that does it about some of our playoff talk. Before we get into our carousel talk, obviously a lot of crazy coaching changes. We got to highlight a big moment that happened last week with our boy, Mr. Sergio Bobrovsky. He's our dude moment of the week, running out of the goal to get in a fight and scrum. I mean, Bob's a damn man.
You know what? I'm pissed.
I know.
I'm pissed because that's my guy. That's my team. I was fired up to see it, and the first text I got is, Bob just came out of the goal and just beat some ass. I'm like, oh, where is it? I'm all over Twitter and I see it. Bob, what are we doing, Bob? If you're coming from all the way across the other side of the ice, you better go whoop some ass. He
I wanted to kind of truck him.
Yeah,
and he held
that would have been great.
He fell over himself.
When he got there, he kind of already went down a little bit, and I'm like, oh shit!
Yeah.
And then
first
he got up.
In 6 years, come on.
This guy's helmet comes off, and then he does square him up, kind of like that first punch. But then it was just kind of uninspiring after that.
First goalie fight in 6 years. I wish Bobby would have done a little bit better there.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing to me about that fight was seeing the team. Right, on both sides, just banging their sticks on the ice, banging their sticks on the side of the arena, and they were fired up about it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see. And then I just honestly picturing that for if I was in that position, their gear that they have on, I know that you can't even throw a punch.
Even moving.
You can't even move around. So it was amazing to see.
Imagine a goalie, all the stuff they have.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's barely any movement going on. So there's no way there's any power behind that punch. But honestly, like the way the Panthers have kind of been playing, it's been a little bit uninspiring, to say the least. Yeah,
listen, they won in a shootout. They won a shootout last night.
I know. But they're playing that 50-50. They lose one, they win one. They lose one, they win one. Like we need to go on a little bit of a run here.
Right now I think we're 3 points out. So we do need to go on a run. The playoffs are super tight this year. It's pretty crazy. But I do got to note one thing. That Bob's been living in Miami or South Florida for so long that Andre has now given him a Hispanic name in Sergio Bobrovsky. It's Sergey, all right?
Sergio. My boy Sergio. Yeah, that's the Miami version of Serge.
That guy's a beast. He is
a beast. He is. He's the man. He's the man.
Yeah, and I know we talk about playoff Bob, right? We're getting now out of that transition from football, right? So a lot of hockey talk to come, but Chucky's back, right?
Yeah,
which
that's
is huge.
amazing to see too.
Oh my God, we haven't seen him all year.
Recovery, obviously he's definitely still aching a little bit, but it's cool. I saw from Paul Maurice, one of the interviews when they had him out on the ice before the Winter Classic, they were saying how much it just benefited the team, right? To see a leader like that come out there on the ice and just be able to skate around, just to be able to be a leader, be in guys' ears and talk to them. That's a huge benefit to any sport, to have a leader like that coming back from recovery, because I think hockey athletes are the toughest athletes in the world.
Oh my God,
100%.
To be able to
100%.
skate around like that, take those hits, you got no teeth, it's just, they're really able to just kind of get after it. And there's some dogs. There's some dogs on the ice.
They're beasts. And I mean, I know you've been to playoff hockey. Dave, you've been to playoff hockey. Like, if you haven't been to a playoff hockey game, you got to go. It's such an electric experience. Like, it's insane. And the Panthers, obviously, like, we're lucky. We've been able to have that run, over the course of the last 3 years. We'll see what happens this year. But, I mean, there's, like, teams like the Avalanche right now that are just ridiculous. I think they have, like, 5 losses on the season, something absurd
Insane.
like that. And to your point, Dave, like, the East right now is just crazy tough.
It's
right
so
now.
close.
Like, we don't have the same top dogs that, that are there in the West, like the Avalanche, right? But everybody, I mean, we're 3 points out, and we're like 5 or 6 games above 500, right? Like, if we were in the West right now, we'd be in the wild card spot, like chilling right now. Whereas here we are, maybe 2 or 3 teams out right now. So we'll see, because this latter half is going to be crazy. But this is where we thrive, right? We're the cardiac cats.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We love to keep it close.
Cats and something that
Exactly.
they'll end up pulling it out.
No, so it'll be safe.
Yeah. The thing with the Cats too is, like, I mean, obviously we've been so banged up. Like, I don't even care where we land. Like, just get into the playoffs, and that's all I need. Like, that's all. This team is they're built different. Like, the second half of the season, they basically treat it as playoff hockey already. So I'm expecting a run. I obviously expect the 2-time Stanley Cup champs in the playoffs, and I expect them to do some damage again. So yeah, just get in there, and I'm pretty confident they can make some noise again.
Absolutely. And Barkov, I know he has a very, very
that sicko's going to be back.
But
that sicko's going to be back.
He can make it back, bro.
Dude, these guys, I mean, like, kind of like Wingo said, like, these guys are the toughest guys in sports. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Alex Ovechkin who played a full game with a torn ACL. Like, he just, like, went up, like
bro,
yeah, just like, let me just
Chucky in that first finals played with a damn broken sternum.
Exactly. So, like, these guys, they truly are built different, and they will, like, lay their life on the line. And it's crazy how physical of a sport this is. Like, every single time the regular season's going on, I'm like, how are these guys playing 82 games? Like, how do they have the same schedule as the NBA does? Like, these guys are skating every day, hitting each other every day, fighting people. I mean, like we just showed, Bob's getting in fights now. Like, I don't know how they do it, but it truly is the craziest sport out there.
Yeah. Shout out to Bob, dude moment of the week, getting out of the goal.
Hell yeah.
We love when some goalies are fighting out there.
Got to get him some MMA training, but he definitely was the highlight of the week.
Hell yeah. So yeah, let's jump into this coaching carousel. A lot has happened over the course of the last week, right? I think last week, pretty much Harbaugh, I think, was pretty much the only coach that, and he hadn't even officially signed at that point. So now we got kind of a lot of hires that have happened, right? We got Harbaugh to the Giants, Saleh to the Titans, we got Hafley to the Finns, Stefanski to the Falcons, and then we got Minter yesterday just signed with the Ravens. So now we got a lot of coaches kind of filled up. I guess before we kind of go through each of these and some of the still open vacancies Saw a weird thing with Mike McDaniel today with the Bills job, so we'll definitely touch on that. But up to this point, with the hires that have happened, who do you think has won in the coaching free agency right now?
Yeah, so I think it's very hard to judge some of the stuff in the coaching carousel because you never know when someone's going to be terrible at one place because of the culture and all that stuff, and then be super successful in another.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to a lot of different details and how they're going to run it all. I do think that John Harbaugh at the Giants is going to do very well. I think they have a young team.
Yep.
I think Harbaugh has a lot of experience. Super excited to see a guy like Jackson Dart. Hopefully Scatterboo can come back and be healthy because he's electric to play and, hopefully be able to protect himself a little bit. But, yeah, I think Harbaugh is definitely the one because he's fiending for a win, man. He's fiending to get over the hump and win some games. So I think the Giants hopefully have a bright future. I know it's tough to say that because I think I compare them almost like to the Dolphins.
They're very similar in that regard, 100%.
So, but I do think having John Harbaugh as somebody with the experience, what he's been able to do, he's definitely going to go in there and get something done. Maybe not be a playoff team in year one, but definitely be trending in the right direction.
Yeah, Dave. What are your thoughts so far on the carousel?
So just to piggyback on that, I agree in terms of the Harbaugh thing. I mean, he's won Super Bowls. He's one of the most established head coaches in the league. And I agree with that team being so young and having so much potential. I'm a huge Jackson Dart guy. And then Malik Neighbors comes back next year. Like, hopefully Scatterboo comes back too. Like, they've got so many pieces and they have a chance to obviously build on that again because they have another top 5 pick. So I agree with you being one. I do think Minter to the Ravens, though, is an awesome get for them. I really think in terms of the other head coaching spots, I really think Minter is a great replacement. I think what he did with the Chargers defense, I'm riding with him.
Yeah. According to Pooch, it's a Minter wonderland in Baltimore. I love that. That's sick. That's awesome.
That's the broadcast background right there. That's the tagline.
I like it.
Background right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I think that's a good point, Dave. I mean, it's hard to go against like Harbaugh. Obviously with the success that he had in Baltimore, a lot of talent on that Giants team. Young, and then you got a great defensive line over there. I just think it's like a good fit and just a great opportunity, right? But to me, I think something interesting is the Robert Saleh one in Tennessee, right? I don't think anybody that's I know, but hear me out. The Jets are a disaster of an organization. So how can we gauge Robert Saleh off of what happened in New York?
I don't know what they're looking for out of him.
I get it. I don't know if it's the right fit, but I am just more intrigued to see.
That's my problem.
Yeah, Saleh as a head coach again. That's where I think it's interesting.
I think
you have
the
a young
biggest thing
quarterback,
for them,
so why didn't you bring an offensive guy into the fold? That's kind of my, I guess, biggest gripe about it. But maybe you bring in the right, OC to kind of be that guy, and then you kind of let Saleh with his experience and then getting, kind of building a defense again in the 49ers and kind of running it back, kind of getting a little bit more experience under his belt. I do think this second iteration of him getting another run at it could be be good for him. But I do agree.
Terrible in him not have another career.
That's fair,
job
which we've seen. We've seen with guys like McDaniel, the OC at New England, right, where he just hasn't had success as a head coach.
McDaniels.
Yeah, right. So it is interesting to see for Saleh.
I agree with you in the sense of I thought that was actually the most kind of head scratching one. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you in the sense of I think the most important hire for him is going to be who they bring in at OC. Obviously, they picked Cam Ward first overall. They've got a young QB. They've got some weapons. I think they got to build out that even more so. But I think who he hires as an OC is going to be very, very important.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing I look at, Saleh, obviously, Mike McDaniel, right? I think he did it the smartest way out of all these coaches because obviously, right, been in Miami for so long, wasn't able to get it done. But instead of, looking at, a head coaching job, I know at the Browns or whatever it might have been, that would have just plummeted his career.
I agree.
He decided to take a step back, look in the mirror. What am I good at? What am I successful at? Okay, I've had successful offenses. So let me go to a team that has guys that can be successful, and let me get back on the map, right? Let me be a big time play caller. Let me be successful with another organization to then eventually have that opportunity to work his way back up the pedestal. Because if you have these coaches nowadays that are unsuccessful with one organization, go somewhere else, can't get it done, you're getting kicked out the club. These college coaches are now moving up, or someone that is successful at an OC somewhere else is getting hired. So I think Mike McDaniel did it best by taking an OC job and hopefully being able to get it done. Yeah, not official yet.
Not official yet.
Not official.
Which I thought it was.
Yeah,
Dude,
not official, but
I really think that he might end up at Buffalo. Like I really do. Like I don't know. Like it's
either
today's
way.
interviews and in person. Like I don't know. I just think if he doesn't, though, I agree with everything you guys said. I think the Chargers are a perfect fit for him. I think this is a great opportunity to showcase how good he is, especially like the offensive genius and guru that we saw here in Miami. Now being able to do that, obviously he's got Herbert, he's got some weapons. Hopefully they get guys back on the line that will make it easier for him. But I think it is a great move. And I always thought that his next move after leaving Miami would be an OC job to build himself back up like that. I think this is the right move if he takes it, of course.
Either way, right? Of course, here we are as the Dolphins, and he has the chance to either go to Buffalo, one of our bigger rivals, or go to the biggest debate of the Tua era, which was Herbert or Tua, right? Yeah. And now he has a chance to either go against our biggest rival or be with the guy that hypothetically everybody maybe wanted over Tua at that time.
And watch, he's going to go win a Super Bowl or something.
Of course, that would be the most dominant shit ever.
100%.
It would be the most dominant
100%. Yeah. No,
Mike and Josh Allen would be kind of
do
electric, though.
Yeah.
Dude,
How about Phillip Rivers?
Am I the only one? Am I the only one who thinks that like the McDaniels and Buffalo thing could work? Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's like kind of scary to think about. I don't want to think about it, but
it could definitely.
I don't know. Like, I have this weird feeling that like, I mean, obviously you're pairing up one of the best quarterbacks in the league with this offensive guru. Granted, we've seen some things like how Mike will handle that situation, but like, dude, that'd be kind of a scary situation. That's the last thing I want. I don't want this guy in my division.
How about as Pooch said, Phillip Rivers in Buffalo?
Please hire Phillip Rivers. Like, I love Phillip Rivers, dude. But he went from coaching high school to then being the head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
He's got coaching experience. Well, I don't see what the issue is.
Yeah, I guess, but so do I. I coached a bunch of 12-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like hire me then, because like I'll tank for you. But yeah, I don't know. I think, granted, Phillip Rivers is a great football mind. Like we know that, and the guy just came back from being 44 years old and just played an NFL game. It's pretty crazy, but
for the insurance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Insurance.
Yeah, 100% for the insurance.
And almost won.
But yeah. So listen. Who knows? He's going to prove me. He'll prove me wrong for sure. I just think it'd be kind of like, I don't know. I'm down for it because, like, who knows? It's a wild card. It's like,
not even like
this could either be really good or really bad.
He's like OC job
right,
or like a pass game coordinator.
He would be
exactly.
He would be starting something that would be insane in the NFL, because if he got that done, every single former quarterback or former player is I just want the head coach job now. I can do it.
Right.
So I think if he's able to get that done and not only just go in there but be successful, teams might be looking in a different direction.
100%. And just
sure.
It's just Phillip Rivers in general, what he did this year, right? He comes after playing for 4 years and then goes and gets a starting job immediately, right? So then it's like all these like aspiring quarterbacks that are on practice squads right now that didn't get a shot. They were just like, no, we're going to call Phillip Rivers, right? And then now here we go in the head coaching cycle, and all these aspiring coordinators and all these different coaching positions, guys that have like been grinding it out, and all of a sudden Phil, that's been coaching a high school football team, is getting a call for an NFL coaching job.
It's crazy. Wingo, when you said that it was going to start something, I thought like the first thing that popped to mind is that he's going to actually name himself the starter now that he's got full control of head coach. He's going to bench Josh Allen, and he's taking the reins. All Philly. Hey.
That would be wild. That'd be wild. So we talked a lot about the current coachings that spots have been filled, but you still got some interesting jobs like available. You got the Raiders, right, with the number 1 overall pick right now, right? You got Arizona, which doesn't seem to be a very hot destination right now, considering the situation there. And then you got Buffalo, obviously, which we talked about with Mike and Phillip Rivers. And then we still got the Browns open, right?
Browns, yep.
and then Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Well, Baltimore took
No, Baltimore got it. Yeah.
So Pittsburgh, right? So there's still some jobs open, right? I think the two most intriguing right now are the Raiders, obviously, because of the number 1 overall pick. And then obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been a playoff team or in contention pretty much every single year with Tomlin now out. What the hell is going to go on there?
Yeah, and I think there's two things I definitely want to highlight. One is in Pittsburgh, right? You have a successful team over the past 19 seasons, right?
Yeah.
And if they're not able to bring in a guy and get it done, I think that whole program just goes downhill
fast.
I think you have a lot of guys with talent on that team. Get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
I know.
Get rid of him. I know he's an elite quarterback. He's going to be a Hall of Fame. He's
they've been
amazing.
doing that rental shit with the quarterbacks now for a couple years.
Just get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Let's bring in somebody that we can develop, at least so if it doesn't work out with the new coach right away in year 1, you're developing a quarterback. You're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And just with Aaron Rodgers, you're not building anything. You're not going to, you're just looking off for a one-off with him at this point, rather than looking at the business aspect of it. So I think that's something that they definitely need to figure out.
Yeah. It's like Tomlin's just been holding on to what this team, his identity is, right? Which is kind of just like, okay, we're good. But reality is, like, they're not really doing anything to evolve this team, right?
Yep.
It was Russell before, then it was Aaron Rodgers, and it's always like, oh, we're a quarterback away. But like, to your point, they're not really building anything. Where's the franchise guy? Who's the guy that's going to lead this team to continued success over the year? And it almost feels like now that Tomlin's out, if they don't get this right, it'll blow up.
Yep.
And then, the other job to me, which I think is interesting, is the Raiders, right? Obviously, we talked about Mendoza early on, number 1 overall pick over there.
Tom Brady's got to have something crafting up.
100%.
I know they're
100%.
trying to make sure they get it right. Tom is somebody who's very critical. Goes by the analytics. He's looking for somebody that's willing to come in. If they can get a guy like Mendoza, it's like, let's surround the entire team around him.
Yeah.
He's going to be not only just a game changer, but an organization changer because of what he can do in the locker room.
Yeah.
You have I know. So one thing I always heard is like a college locker room is much different than an NFL locker room. Obviously, because you got guys that are now have whole families. You have guys who are age difference of like 22 to 40 now, and it is very different. But when you look at these teams that are successful, like the Patriots and the Rams, and like these teams are bought in. Like these teams want to do things the right way and do the little things and showing up and not just collecting a paycheck. Like these teams are doing all the right things, and that is something that Mendoza prides himself on.
Yep.
So if the Raiders are able to get him into that organization with a big time head coach or somebody that can get the job done, I think they're going to surround it around him, and they can start moving in the right direction. Obviously they have Ashton Genty last year. Hopefully being able to open up things for him. They have some potential. So I'm curious if even Tom's thinking in the back of his head, why can't I be head coach?
Right. I mean, he's going to be involved in Fernando's,
for sure.
I don't know.
Upbringing and huh?
Oh, me? I just said for sure.
Oh no, I was just.
Yeah, he's keeping his mouth shut. I think he knows something that we could find out.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I do think that job's interesting, and I don't know much as to who they've even interviewed up to this point. I feel like I haven't heard.
Yeah, I haven't seen it buzz around.
They've been keeping it very close.
Yeah, which makes me believe that maybe a guy like McDermott can come in late now into this and maybe have a chance. But I do think that's interesting. Jobs like Cleveland and jobs like Arizona, unfortunately, seem to be.
I haven't
like,
seen anything about it.
Yeah.
It's just not appealing.
Yeah.
It's not some place I
the
want to
Browns
go.
have tried to. They definitely done their due diligence of trying to interview people, right? But it doesn't seem like it's led to anything.
Everyone keeps backing out.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps literally please no. Like, I don't want to be there.
And those
It's
are
crazy.
two organizations where that's your opportunity now to go for a lower tier guy.
Right.
That's your opportunity. Stop chasing the head coaches that have been head coaches or trying to go somewhere else. That's where you go for an OC or a DC somewhere, someone that's looking to step up their career and take that next step. So, it's potential, but you got to look the right way. I know they've shot their shots a million different ways, but you got to look at these organizations that are successful, and then who's really calling the shots,
right.
and who is really making the decisions in the background, like who's sitting at the table. Who can I take from this table to now pour into my program and organization? So they definitely got a lot of work to do, but it's not very appealing if it were to be thrown out there to many people.
I mean, a coordinator name is Kubiak, from Seattle. I think he's one of those guys that maybe could end up at a Cleveland, could maybe be an interesting fit at the Raiders, right? So we'll see. There's still a lot to kind of figure out in the NFL right now.
I've got a name to toss out. I don't know if you guys saw this report or not, that the Steelers are supposedly interested in Mario Cristobal. Did you guys see this?
What? I did not see that.
I'll find it. I'll send it to you guys. I read it last night again.
I did see it.
Okay, but my question, I don't think so either, but my question was for Poochie, was that what do you do if the Steelers come in and take your guy?
Oh, man. I mean, I think we have a guy that could potentially be a head coach in Heatherman. I can see our DC maybe getting head coach opportunities and soon, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I mean, Cignetti's turning
I
that
don't
off,
see it either.
no one's chasing Cignetti.
Would be crazy.
Listen, I will say, I know this for a fact, that Mario Cristobal's favorite team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing it.
I don't think he's going to. I will throw one on your radar though. I don't think it's going to be this year because Arch Manning is still there, and this is going to be their shot this next year to be in the playoffs and try and win it all. I think that Sarkson is a guy that we're going to see later on that's going to have his opportunity in the NFL. And if they're not able to get it done this year out there in Austin, I do see those being opportunities to step up to the next level.
Yeah. His name's always kind of been like, I feel like floating in the NFL space for a while. And then, I mean, does Cignetti ever take an NFL job?
I don't think so.
No.
It's funny. I don't remember the exact number, so don't quote me on this if I'm wrong. But I think it was hilarious to see after 40 years, I think it was, he had earned, I think it was like $3.5 million. He's been chasing this dream for a long time. And now, I don't know what his new contract looks like. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But now he's going to make whatever it is, $8 to $12 million a year.
Right.
This guy has busted his butt to do all the right things and how he coaches and, just the old style way that he does it, pen and paper. You see him on the sidelines, calm and controlled. This guy has worked to achieve this dream and get it done, and he finally has now got there. I don't think he's the type of guy to abandon ship.
Yeah.
Right? He just built Indiana with freaking Mark Cuban in the NIL space, to finally get it done. I don't see him jumping ship and just leaving those guys out to dry. I think he's going to be there for a long period of time and probably even finish his career out there.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. Well, I was going to say something. My bad.
I do got one more name that we haven't really brought up. And Kevin Stefanski going to Atlanta, and a little bit of drama there.
Yeah.
A little bit of Twitter.
Baker, that's right.
Over there in Atlanta.
Yeah, with Stefanski. That was what I also want to talk about the Anthony Weaver situation real quick too, and the Finns with Hafley because something Hafley said yesterday in his press conference is interesting. But yeah, pull up the Baker tweet. That was fun.
And also just about Stefanski in general. I mean, that's a 2-time coach of the year. I really think he did a lot with the Browns. So I actually do think it's a really good hire for Atlanta, but I love this. I love Baker. Like, I mean, granted, I saw Joe Thomas get back to him too. This is incredible.
Right? Same division.
Twice. Same division, twice a year. He's going to be chirping. I'm curious to see if Stefanski says anything, especially obviously when the season starts and leading up to that game or something. But I think it's cool. I think Baker, Baker's talking his talk, man.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield is he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. I've been at a few games over in Tampa Bay, and just to watch his aura, everybody says, when it gets to that second half or the fourth quarter, what he's been able to do, he plays mean, he plays aggressive, he makes the throws. When you have guys like, Mike Evans, right, who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, Baker Mayfield, he's been through the gauntlet. Right, when you look at all the way back at where he came from, transferring in college and then being able to get it done and now being in the NFL, he's been through a lot and he has no shame in it. He's a guy that, walks in the building, is ready to attack the day, get the job done, be a leader, now do like a lot of things the right way. And he's just a beast. He walks out with the type of swagger that I think you want to see in your quarterback, right? If I have a guy on my team like that is just, walks around like a pimp sometimes and is making those throws in the corner and throwing touchdowns, man, I'm hyped up. That gets me fired up seeing a quarterback like that. So he's somebody that I think is just, one of the all-time guys that just, to see that tweet. I know a lot of times you look at social media and, why'd you tweet that? It's a bad look for you. I saw this tweet and I'm like, Bake, you're the man. You're the man.
No one even
questions. As long as you can back it up, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Which that's what Baker does. Yeah. He talks his talk and he backs it up with his play. So, and I think when people do that, people are gonna, people are all for it, right? But when you talk that talk and you don't back it up, like a guy that played for the Finns at quarterback, it came back to haunt him. It's just the truth. It's unfortunate, man.
That's as you're decked out in Finn gear. Listen, I'm rocking too, so.
I rooted for Tua forever, man. I really did. Like I really wanted it to work. Unfortunately, which that's the whole thing. We don't even know what's going to happen with Tua.
No idea.
And as we figured out,
respect to the coach to coming in and saying that how he does love Tua, but that's the correct way to handle
absolutely.
it. Coming in and saying, hey, we have an utmost respect for Tua, but at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for the team. That is a respectable answer.
It's the perfect answer.
The perfect answer. So to be able to come out like that right away and address that situation that everyone's kind of been questioned about. No one's kind of going to press him about it. Now he's going to go back to the drawing board and figure out how it's going to work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Which real quick, before we kind of finish up our coaching talk here, obviously there's a lot going on in the NFL, so there's a lot to talk about here, right? But we didn't talk about Hafley, in Miami, right? I think we've all kind of been kind of transparent. Some people are not super excited about the hire, I guess you could say. Obviously, we all wanted Harbaugh, right? Like the Dolphins guys wanted Harbaugh. They didn't get him, so Hafley always is it Hafley, right?
Yeah, Hafley.
Oh, okay.
There's a little typo there.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, damn, am I messing it up or?
Fuji.
There's a typo. The Texas Small, I didn't see it. It's all good. We made a lot of graphics though. We have a lot of graphics.
Yeah. But he always felt like he was going to be the guy, considering the ties to Sullivan, right? Yep. Green Bay guy. We are now officially the Green Bay Dolphins, or the Miami Packers, however you want.
Miami Packers.
The Miami Packers. We might even be bringing in a guy for the offensive coordinator from Green Bay. So we're going all in on being the Green Bay Packers.
And maybe even the quarterback.
And Malik Willis. Yes.
Bro, I know. Legitimately, we're trying to live up to the name.
It's a little weird if you ask me, but whatever. I'm all for it. Hafley did say though, and this is what I was trying to get to, right? That he is going to be the defensive play caller. It's what he's comfortable with. It's what he knows. But we technically still have Anthony Weaver, right? He's in Pittsburgh, I think today, doing his second interview, right? So there is a chance, or maybe they feel something that he's going to take the head coaching job. I believe he also interviewed for the Arizona job as well. So there might be something, like in this, all him saying that it looks like Weaver might be out, but he's not officially out. How does that dynamic work if you keep a guy like Weaver?
Yeah, so Weaver's not going to stay, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to stay. Obviously, that's when I go back to looking at, these teams like Arizona and the Browns is where you're looking for that next upcoming guy. I'll tell you this, Arizona's defensive coordinator, Patrick Toney, just went over to the Ole Miss job. The Arizona Cardinals are looking to bring somebody in that can also call plays on defense. So Anthony Weaver, in my opinion, would be a great fit. He's somebody that's trying to elevate now, his career, take that next step. I think at Arizona, he would be good over there. So I don't think, with the success and when you get all that buzz, as a defensive coordinator and having interviews as a head coach, and then you get a new head coach and they say that he's going to call the defensive calls, come on, I'm not going to sit back and just coach a position or something like that. Yeah. So he's definitely going to take the opportunity to, take that next step in his career. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be over at the Arizona Cardinals.
I could see that for sure. But
that's a good call.
That is if Pittsburgh lets him walk. Yeah, today, because he might not walk after today's meeting. But yeah, I could see either Pittsburgh or Arizona, and then Hafley will end up being the DC or defensive play caller, and then we'll bring in kind of like a DC at some capacity into the fold. Because I think we also were gonna look at the linebackers coach in Jacksonville as a guy. I don't know where we netted out with that, so that'll be interesting too. But yeah, a lot to figure out. And I don't know if you guys noticed this. One last thing on Hafley, but Hafley and Sullivan look like fucking brothers, bro. have you put this? I'm going to show it here. For anyone watching, pull up a side-by-side from them. But look at this shit.
I got to find a way to put up live images at this point. Just search up stuff. And
he looks like Big Bro.
It's insane.
Yeah. He looks like
put your live screen, Joe. Let me put your live screen.
He looks like Big Bro.
Yeah, I was about to say,
you probably
I
can't see that clearly.
Yeah. But I've seen him. I agree.
And the more I see them side by side, I'm like, what the hell, bro? These guys could be twin brothers. It's insane.
It's cool to see them doing things together. That's one thing I think is amazing to look at right now. Obviously, no games have been played, right? No games have been played yet. But it's cool to see them being on the same page. It's cool to see them having a common goal and understanding, all right, this is what we need to get done. This is how we do it. Now let's go out and attack. Let's attack the media. Let's attack, the critics and everybody. Make sure that everyone is understanding of what we're doing and how we're going to do it. And then before we actually, do make that decision, release it, let's make sure we're making the right one, because this is our opportunity to do it the right way. And I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. And what's the thing is, and we obviously joked about it, like the Miami Packers and things like that. There's not many teams that you'd want to emulate more like the Packers. Fair. I mean, they've been one of these top teams for the last, forever, but like specifically really the last 25, 30 years. Like they've been a great organization. And if we can reach those levels, it'd be a home run higher. So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do.
Yeah. And I'm, just like we talked about with Green Bay, get rid of, or the Steelers, get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Right. And for us, I think it's almost in the same boat. I think Quentin Ewers is a successful quarterback. He knows how to win. He's a smart kid. He's earning, the trust and the relationship and getting things dialed up with his receivers. I do think you have to bring in a quarterback. I do think we have to bring in somebody else if there was a possibility of releasing Tua or however that might kind of work out. Because I don't see Tua, sitting in the back and helping Quentin to the best of his ability. I just don't see Tua as that guy, because you already saw, when he released his statement about saying how, I would love to try that or whatever he said.
That'd be
about,
dope.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Let's see.
That's just right there, just bad quality, bad ball by him. So, I think you got to have somebody that's able to kind of take Quentin under his wing a little bit. Obviously, maybe a veteran guy that has a little bit more experience. But I do think Quentin can get it done. So maybe even, bringing a guy like Malik Willis, who's a different type of, obviously doesn't have the experience, but he's a different type of quarterback. You got two guys that can go, 1-1. You can have different packages for both, as well as just kind of let them battle it out. It's either got to be a battle between two young quarterbacks or have a young quarterback and somebody with experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if you saw Sullivan say it. He's like, I'm drafting a quarterback every year, or if not every other year, right? Because QB is the most important.
Well, I hope
position.
not. Listen, I hope not. I know he's joking, but I really hope not.
Which basically tells you, like, a guy like Malik Willis could come in. You got Quinn Ewers, and we're basically drafting a quarterback this year at some point, right? And he said it. He's like, it's all about value, right? But you never really know when it is that you're going to need that guy. And he alluded to that when they did it with Rodgers, and then they did it also with Jordan Love, right? So they're doing it now, and they've seen it, I guess, work, right? But then you can also make the argument like they probably could have used somebody else at that time when they drafted Jordan Love in the first round.
Well,
right? So, how much can you really look into the future when you need help now?
I know. I would be kind of maybe not shocked. Shock's the wrong word, but I don't think we're going to take a quarterback this year. I do think we either bring somebody in or we do let Quinn Ewers see what he's got, because I think the quarterback class next year is really special. So I think if you're going to take the risk on somebody, I think you maybe give it a year, but who knows? I could be totally wrong and they take somebody this year, but that class next year is shaping up to be really, really good. So like maybe it's like, hey, we've got this guy, he kind of started the last few games, looked pretty solid. It looks like maybe we can do something here. Or we bring in somebody else, like a Malik Willis. So we'll see what they do.
You got to take a step back too and realize that this dead cap space, right? You can't almost bring in a veteran quarterback that wants to get paid, right? You got to figure out ways. So I do agree with your point there, and kind of waiting more to the next year if they're able to push it past June 1st, and spread that dead cap into 26 and 27 so that they can do that. And also it's, can you draft somebody that high? No. So I think you're going to have to take the opportunity of having a late round draft at quarterback. This is where I think you either go for, my personal favorite, Trinidad Chambliss. I think he is somebody that comes in with a lot of potential. I think he can sling the rock. And I also just think he can move the ball, well. He's commanding. He knows what he's doing. He's comfortable. He's been in big-time situations. Obviously, he won the national championship in the younger division, and then was able to do what he did this year. Yeah. But he's a guy who's dedicated. He's willing to build the bricks to make the house. Right. And I think that's somebody that Miami definitely needs in their organization.
Yeah, I'd love that. That's for damn sure. I mean, we saw him in that Ole Miss game. He was slinging it around. So bring him over to Miami. All right, we are working on getting Cam in here in the next couple minutes. Cam will be joining us, giving us kind of our final thoughts for the week. He'll actually be in Denver again, back-to-back weeks in the cold. So sorry, Cam, for having to deal with that cold weather over there. But he'll provide some of the insights from some of the games this week. Provide some insights on the coaching carousel going on. And, maybe Cam got some breaking news for us on the show that we don't know about. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm bummed for this one because, guys like that, you get a lot of insight in things that are popping up. And this coaching carousel, I think it's probably the most that it's been ever.
Yeah.
I think at one point it was 25 to 30% of teams were looking for coaches. And it's almost like there's a transfer portal in the freaking NFL.
That's what it feels like.
For coaches. And it's crazy how much guys are switching around and moving and just trying to, that's where I go back to my point where if you're not winning now, right, we're making a change. And nobody's willing to do this whole rebuild phase anymore. Like you say you're going to rebuild, but are you really?
Exactly.
Right? You're trying to win right now. And I think that's just the key. You got to get it done. And if you're not getting it done, we're moving forward. So a lot of these teams got to make a lot of decisions coming here soon. I think it's going to be the determining factor of their franchise for the next 5 to 10 years if you're already somebody that just has been unsuccessful. So there's got to make some moves. There's got to be a lot of movement in, who's left. If it's going to be a younger guy that steps up from an offense or a defensive coordinating job to maybe a former head coach. But it'll be interesting. Definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah. It's just it is crazy how volatile the head coaching space is. We do this every year, right? Yes. I mean, obviously some years more than others. And this year there were some big names that were fired that, very successful coaches, Tomlin, Harbaugh, and McDermott, right? Like the three big names. So we'll see. Every year it's kind of the same, and I think next year we'll be having the same conversation, right? Hopefully we're not with the Miami Dolphins, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, absolutely not with the Miami Dolphins.
Let's see. I mean, any word from Cam Pooch? Is he in the room?
So he says he's hopping on now. Just waiting for him to be in the lobby, and then we'll get him in. But he should be coming up soon. We should be able getting him soon.
Dave, you got some final thoughts before you work your way out of here?
Final thoughts. I will take this time to say the Pats suck again, all right?
I knew it was coming.
I'm very excited for this weekend. I listen, I'm ride or dying with the Rams. I'm curious, maybe ask Cam for me, ask him what if we've got a Stafford Super Bowl in our future. But no, great stuff today, boys. As always, this is awesome. And yeah, listen, Haley, or as Pooch calls him, Haley, we believe in you. We want you to do well, and let's go Miami Dolphins, baby. Woo!
I love it.
Those are my final words. But I'll let me know when Cam gets here.
Dave is going to be living it up in the Keys, doing dude things this weekend. So.
Yes, that I will. That I will.
Oyster guy.
Oh, the oyster guy.
Yeah,
he made it to the game.
That's true.
That's
true.
And he actually brought oysters with him to the game.
He brought like a bag of oysters.
Yeah, he was running around and yeah.
Dude, am I crazy or did because I went down a rabbit hole of his like Instagram or whatever. Like, did he sign with somebody? Like, did I see he was like either like Jake Paul's
I think they're the ones that got him to the game. So the whole deal.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That if he got the 20,000 likes, I think on the post or something like that, he would get to the game. Brought to you by Better and Jake Paul, basically.
Better. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, hey, props to him. Kudos to him, dude. That's he got there and dude, I actually I really want to try his oysters. So.
Yeah.
Like, where is he shucking these oysters?
Yeah, I don't even know where he's from.
I have no idea.
Because he can't be from Miami. I don't people. It's kind of crazy. He's got to be like a Louisiana boy. Bobby might know him.
Hey. But yeah, I'm down here. It's a beautiful day. It's here. I can, that's how we can give tours. Check it out. Look at that. That's not mine. This is not my place. And so it is a beautiful day in South Florida. Anybody tuning in from the Northeast, I've heard it's going to be freezing cold snowstorms, but
weather forecast for the day.
I'll be able. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing a weather segment. I'm gonna need a green screen behind me, and And actually, that'd be kind of funny for these matchups. We'll have that. But yeah, I'm excited for this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it.
Pooch, we got any comments there that we we want to take a look at?
Man, so,
any answer
Yeah.
questions?
Good thing for today is that we're actually we're live on X and YouTube today. So we got multi-stream going on. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see the comments live, but I'm going to go through some of the comments.
Let's look through the comments.
Kind of go
while
in
we wait
there.
for Cam.
We got ads going on, but as we were here for Cam, let's see. Some guy like the Minter Wonderland. Some guy Minter Wonderland is incredible. It's a great tag. Some guy asked, how are we going to work this process with Weaver? We need those 2 second-round picks, or I believe it's 2 third-round picks, right? If he gets
Third,
hired.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we also need a DC. If we release him, we won't get those picks.
I don't think he'll get released. I think he'll just he's going to take a head coaching job.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to get released.
Yeah. But I think they're asking is like, if he doesn't get a job, right, how does that work?
Well, I think he's definitely going to get I don't even think that's in the question when you're looking at someone like Anthony Weaver who's getting put on such a high pedestal for what he's been able to do already.
I mean, he's getting a second interview with Pittsburgh
he's
right now.
getting looked at. He's getting interviews and things like that. So he's excited for that. He's got to be pumped to be able to take that next step in his career. So he's not somebody that's going to be able to just be released or not get a job opportunity.
100%.
He's going to get picked up somewhere.
Yeah, especially with how many jobs are still open. I mean, he was a finalist for the Saints job last year.
Yeah.
Right. So clearly he's respected in the NFL, and it's just like it was always a matter of like when, not like if. So for him, he'll end up somewhere for sure.
I mean, he was getting interviews last year too.
Well, that's what I was saying. He was a finalist for the Saints job.
Yeah. So,
2 Daves now.
oh, let's go. Double trouble. Let's ride.
I think it's like
man.
Cam's trying to get in.
Do you need me to hop off for him to get on? I can absolutely
No, you should
do that if it
He
makes
just told me that it just says connecting, so I don't know if that's kind of the issue.
Yeah, he might be like in the car trying to hop in.
No, like he's saying like it's not going through. It's just saying connecting. Like,
Oh, it's not going through?
yeah.
Up there in that weather. The weather's getting too more.
Well, he's still down here. He's actually in Fort Lauderdale, coming back from an appointment. So that's why we're getting Cam in the car.
Oh yeah. some live action.
Yeah. Live from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, Dave, I think let's let Dave go.
Yeah.
All right, Dave.
See if we can get him in there.
Boys, a successful second episode.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for you guys tuning in. Keep tuning in. Cam's coming. Later, guys.
Later. What do you got going on this weekend?
Oh, nothing much. I guess
We got Cam.
There we go.
We got Cam.
Stand by. I see a Cam Wolf.
I
Stand by
hear.
for Cam Wolf. Stand by for Cam Wolf.
What's good? What's good?
What's good?
There
What's
he is,
good?
Right here.
I hear you. I'm waiting to see you, but I know you're in the car. So what is going on, my man?
Hold up, I got him right here.
Nothing much,
Boom.
man.
There he is.
There we got Cam Wolf live.
There we go.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay, man. Just handling some family business. How y'all fellas doing?
All good. Appreciate you for taking the time to jump on. I know you're a busy man. Was in Denver last week, and you're going to be back in Denver this week. How was that cold last week? I think it's going to be colder this weekend, actually.
Yeah, not looking forward to it, Dre. Not at all. It was very cold. I tried to find as many warm pockets inside as I could. But yeah, it's supposed to be 0 degrees, wind chilled. We're getting some flurries. I'll definitely be wishing I was home every second of Sunday morning. But that's the job, and I'm excited to see some good ball.
That's for damn sure. So, Wingo, I'll toss it to you. What are we going to ask Cam going into this weekend?
Yeah, so obviously, you got to be in Denver last week. You're going to get to be in Denver again this week. What is something you're kind of looking at? Obviously having a huge hit, losing Bo Nix. Are they going to be able to get the job done with obviously the dominant all-cylinder phases firing for the New England Patriots?
Yeah, great question, Wingo. I can't wait to see that Denver defense. And I think that obviously Jarrett Stidham is not Bo Nix, but the reason the Broncos are here is because they had one of the best defenses in football. And back-to-back sack leading team in back-to-back seasons, Vance Joseph's going to have some creative looks for Drake May. And Drake's really struggled to protect the ball the last couple of games in the playoffs. The offensive line has allowed him to get sacked 5 times this week. Can the Broncos defense own that game? 10 years ago, I covered a Broncos team that won a Super Bowl behind an elite defense, questionable quarterback play, and still made it happen. And I do think there's a path for the Broncos to beat the Patriots, but it's behind that defense. So Pat Surtain, Nick Bonitto, Jonathan Cooper, all of those guys on defense, can they rise to the moment? That's what I can't wait to see.
Yeah, you brought up Surtain. I think Surtain's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. Should he be pretty much 100% by game?
Yeah, he'll be good to go. He suffered that shoulder injury last week. He tried to go head-to-head with a running back that was bigger than him, and he spent a little bit of time sitting down. But from what I understood, it was just a stinger. He's good to go. As far as injuries, I think the big one to watch will be J.K. Dobbins. He's been out for about 2 or 3 months with an injury, and he's back at practice this week. They have him as questionable for the game, so I think that's one that's going to be a true game-time decision. The Broncos' route on offense is to lean on that run game, and so can they get it going if they can get a J.K. Dobbins to add with a R.J. Harvey in that backfield? That'll help Jarrett Stidham quite a bit. So that's the big one on their side.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking at the game plan here. You know, if I was the New England Patriots, I'm looking at almost stacking the box, right? Obviously, having a guy like R.J. Harvey, is J.K. Dobbins going to play, and making them throw the football down the field. What do you see, you know, is he going to be able to make those big-time plays? And then just how is the weather going to be able to affect just the turnovers on offense that Drake May had last week at quarterback position?
Yeah, that's a great point. I'll start on the Broncos side, right? So you got Jarrett Stidham, who Sean Payton loves. He's wanted him for a while, but he hadn't thrown a pass in the regular season for 2 years. And I talked to Milton Williams, the Patriots defensive tackle, and he said very simply, we want to make him throw every single down. He was like, we know that they like him. We're going to see how much they like him. And they want to completely take away the run game. I think you'll see them load the box and challenge Jarrett Stidham. I think they're going to play a lot of man-to-man coverage on the back end and say, okay, you trust your quarterback, trust him against us down the field, against a Christian Gonzalez, against a Carlton Davis who's questionable, but it sounds like he's trending towards playing. I think the Patriots are going to try to challenge them in that way. And so Jarrett Stidham's going to have to be Nick Foles. He's going to have to step up. They're not going to be hide him through an AFC championship victory. And on the other side, you mentioned it, right? Drake May, they've struggled with pressure. And you look on the other end with the edge rushers they have in Nick Bonitto and Jonathan Cooper. I'd expect the Patriots to try to find those dump off passes to Travion Henderson, to Hunter Henry, to try to keep the offense flowing on a short passing attack. This is one where you got to tell Drake May, you don't got to win this game and be a superhero, man. You don't have to look for the 50-yard touchdowns. Just don't turn the ball over. And I think that's what you'll see from the Pats on Sunday.
Absolutely, yeah. And then on the other side, right, you got probably what seems to be kind of the big game of the weekend, right? It's Seattle, and then you got the Rams, right? And Stafford, who looks like he may end up the MVP of this year, right? So what are your thoughts on that game? Seattle's coming off a very dominant win against the 49ers last week, right? So what are your thoughts in that game? Obviously, Seattle's crowd is going to play an element in that game, but would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, Seattle's defense is incredible. I think you've got to give John Snyder, their general manager, a lot of credit for rebuilding that team the way that he did. And they traded Rams a couple of years ago, Jets, and that's really turned around the culture of that team. So you look at the defenses left in the playoffs, and I think the Seahawks are the best one. And so that's their X factor of the Rams have had up and down play from their defense. They have talent in spots, but they're not at the cohesiveness of the Seahawks. And so the Rams' big advantage is, hey, we've got a Super Bowl champ in Matthew Stafford, probably the best quarterback on paper left in the playoffs, and the Seahawks' big advantage is the defense. And so that battle, is certainly going to decide it. I like Seattle having that home field advantage. I like the way they're playing on defense. The Rams are going to have to put something really special together to beat that Seattle team the way that they're flowing. And I'd love to see how JSN is going to get active against these DBs. He's worked pretty much everyone he's gone against in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be similar, right? Kind of stack the box. Like if you're the Rams, force Sam Darnold to be the guy to beat you. Obviously, there's no Charbonnet, but Kenneth Walker has been great. Was great last week for them, so they're going to try to rely on him. But reality is, like, well, they're down one back. They're going to ride with Kenneth Walker to kind of be their guy. But are they going to be able to do enough maybe to stop the run game and then force Darnold to try to be the guy and win that game for them?
Yeah, let's call the elephant in the room what it is. Everybody's wondering, is Sam Darnold going to turn into a pumpkin at midnight? You know, like, I think everybody just, it's like, is he really going to be able to be a Super Bowl contending quarterback? And I think that every time Seattle's been forced with that question this year, Sam has responded well. And so, although I still have a little bit of doubt in my mind, you know, it's the fourth quarter in the drive, all I can see is the evidence. And I've seen him come back fourth quarter drives against this very team and win in the regular season. And so I do think that Sam will play well. What you mentioned with the run game is definitely key because Seattle's offense has kind of gone up and down this year based on its run game. And so not having the two-headed backs field certainly hurts them. But the Rams have really, really struggled to cover. And JSN is a different level impact player. So if Sam is accurate, if Sam is on his game, I think they shouldn't have much problem scoring against this Rams defense.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit about this NFL coaching carousel as well. You know, when you look at it, at one point it was 25 to 30% of these NFL teams looking for, you know, new coaches. Obviously, sometimes you're looking at the organizations that weren't very successful. Are you looking at hiring a former, you know, head coach, or you're looking at, you know, one of these successful offense or defensive coordinators? What do you just think overall of just, you know, the hirings that have already happened, or just the open spots that are left to kind of be filled?
Yeah, first of all, the busiest coaching cycle I can remember. 10 different openings. You see Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, and Sean McDermott all leave in the same cycle. And I think what's been interesting watching trend-wise is teams looking around and being comfortable with a defensive-minded head coach to kind of be a CEO, leader of the team, and transform it. I think people are seeing what Mike McDonald's doing in Seattle. I think they're looking at what Mike Vrabel's doing in New England and say, let's get that dynamic leader. And so I think we were going through a trend for a while where everybody was trying to find the next Sean McVay, the next hot offensive mind. And I think there's still some of that happening, but you're seeing a willingness of teams, you know, even Miami hiring a defensive minded head coach to try to reset your culture, even if you have a big need on offense. And so I think it's a positive trend for the league because there's only a limited amount of these elite play callers on offense. What happens when adversity hits? And so that's what you're seeing so far. I think you'll see a few more hires of defensive minds who are still elite leaders in the head coaching cycle. And so Buffalo is moving pretty quickly. You'll see a hire, I'd imagine, here in the next week there, and then, you know, I'd imagine the Browns will be next after that. You know, the Raiders and the Cardinals may be the last ones on the docket because they're waiting on some of these coaches who are still in the playoffs.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? And I think the interesting one really is obviously the Buffalo job. We saw this morning that actually Mike McDaniels now is interviewing for that job after kind of accepting the Chargers job, OC job, but basically contingent on the fact that he doesn't get a head coaching job. I guess, is Mike's really only head coaching option at this point the Bills job? Because I know he had interviewed for the Ravens job, and he had interviewed for obviously the Tennessee job, which is full already, and then the Cleveland job.
Yeah, so he took his name out of the Cleveland Hunt race. I think he would have had a chance to get that gig, but I actually think he desired the Chargers OC job more than the Browns head coach job, which I think says something about the Browns and probably says something about a smart coach knowing where he can grow at. So I think right now Buffalo, you know, you've got Josh Allen. Anybody would want that job. You get a chance to coach Josh Allen. Now, would they hire the guy that was coming second to them in the division throughout their whole tenure? I don't know if that's going to be the case, but one thing that's interesting to me about the Bills race is they're having Josh Allen sit in on all of these interviews. They're actually down in Florida at the Pagula's residency, his off-season residency, having interviews this weekend. That's where they're interviewing McDaniel and Anthony Weaver and Grant Udinski, the Jags offensive coordinator. They're doing all of those interviews this weekend in his residency there. And I think that it's interesting that the quarterback is involved because it just shows how valuable Josh is to the future. And so I think you're going to see an offensive-minded hire, whether that's Brian Daboll, who some people I talk to think is the favorite there, used to be with Josh Allen as an offensive coordinator early on in his tenure. They have a great relationship. He's been a former head coach. Or do they go with a Davis Webb, who's still in Denver, who also has a great relationship with Josh? They also brought in Phillip Rivers for an interview this weekend as well, who's close with Josh. And so you're getting my themes here.
Yeah.
People who are close with Josh, who can build this team and get them over the hump from being a good team to a great team. I think that's where you'll see this hire go.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that you brought up Josh, too. We were talking about it a little bit earlier on the show. Is Josh Allen finally going to be able to get over the hump, right? That's what we've been, stressing the factor. Obviously, having a vacancy there now. He has all the weapons. He has what it, needs to be around him. They got a firing offense with guys who can make plays, explosive plays. Their defense has been able to play decently well. So how can they now get over that hump? I think, to have Josh Allen involved in these interviews obviously shows the trust factor that they have in him, right? They want to keep that organization surrounded around Josh. But my biggest question is, how long do you let that go on? One of the things that was brought up earlier is, if he's going to take that next step, it's not going to be in Buffalo. How long will we keep dragging this out if Josh Allen and whoever maybe they bring in or whoever's there cannot get the job done?
It's a great question, and I think that's why you're seeing Josh Allen in these interviews, right? Mm-hmm. You're kind of seeing, you saw it this year with Joe Burrow. When Joe Burrow makes a comment about the direction, everybody's like, what is he going to ask out of Cincinnati? What's the issue there? And whether it's good or bad for the organization, when you have a franchise quarterback that almost becomes equal to your franchise, they have the power, and you want to do everything to make them happy, because now that they have the power, they can tell you, hey, I don't think this place is the best place for me. I've never got the signal Josh would go that route, but I do think the organization is saying, hey, Josh turns 30 in this spring. We've already had 8 years with Josh where we haven't won a Super Bowl. We may not get another 8. You've seen quarterbacks in the past who have retired early if they felt like, the situation wasn't there. Andrew Luck's a perfect example. How long is Josh willing to take on this superhero role where he's getting beat up and banged up and not necessarily getting that title? So I think the pressure and the onus is higher than ever. I think you'll see this with the head coach hire where, hey, you've got 2 or 3 years to win this or at least get to the Super Bowl, or we're going to have to go a different direction. So it's a high-paced, high-intensity job, but that's the pressure that comes with having one of these dudes, a Josh, a Lamar, a Patrick Mahomes. If you've got one of these elite guys, you've got to win. And I think the Bills are very disappointed that in a year without Patrick Mahomes, without Lamar Jackson, without Joe Burrow in the playoffs, that they couldn't even get to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I think that's just nuts in my opinion. One other team that I wanted to highlight as well was Pittsburgh, right? Obviously, Mike Tomlin, successful over 19 seasons, him kind of, transitioning out. Who are they looking at? Who are they kind of wanting to hire? In my opinion, it's get rid of Aaron Rodgers, right? You got to start somewhere where you can build. You're not looking for a one-off. You have guys in your team that can be successful. You have guys that are on big-time contracts. Let's get a young quarterback that can come in here and develop, right? And I think this coaching decision for the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to determine, right, the next 5 to 10 years for their organization, just because if they're not able to have a guy that can come in and get it done and change the culture to get over the hump, these guys on contracts are not going to be there for very long. So this decision coming in Pittsburgh, in my opinion, is going to be the deciding factor on whether Pittsburgh Steelers is able to kind of make that hump in the playoffs, or they're kind of just going to be a below 500 team from the future.
Yeah, you hit it on the nose. They're at a fork in the road with the franchise because Mike Tomlin had been there for so long, and I think he had hidden some of their holes to an extent because of his consistency and culture. And so you have to restart a culture. You can't just assume that you start from the foundation of a 9-8 base that Mike Tomlin built. You may start from the bottom. And so I think the hire you mentioned is so interesting because from what I understand, there's 3 favorites or 3 front runners right now for that job. Chris Shula, who's the Rams defensive coordinator. You've got Brian Flores, former Dolphins head coach, who is now the Vikings defensive defensive coordinator, and you got Mike McCarthy, who used to be the Packers head coach. So Mike McCarthy's interesting because he was longtime coach with Aaron Rodgers, and they're still having a friendship. That's the path you're talking about, Wingo, that you didn't necessarily want them to do, where maybe Rodgers comes back one more year with McCarthy, and then they try to find the later young quarterback to take over. If they go Chris Shula or Brian Flores, I'd imagine you find a situation where they start over. They start over at quarterback. They reset the culture. They do things differently. And so it'll be interesting to see the Steelers kind of attach themselves to the old guard and say, hey, we're going to try to keep this thing flowing with Mike or with Mike McCarthy, or we're going to just reset this complete thing going forward. And I think they're still deciding as a franchise which route they want to go. They got a lot of older dudes and TJ Watt and Cam Hayward who still want to win and maybe only have a 1 or 2 year window, but they also need to reset this roster and get younger so that this doesn't hit a complete wall sooner than later.
I mean, I think the dynamic between Flo and Aaron Rodgers would not be something that would work really well. But Cam, one last question, and then we'll let you get out of here. But I know you got to speak to Hafley, new Dolphins head coach. Talk to us a little bit about, kind of how that went, what you heard from him that kind of stood out.
Yeah, I had never met him before, so it was a complete fresh page for me, and I was actually impressed with the amount of passion, the amount of intensity that I got from him. I got a chance to talk with him one-on-one, and I just kind of was taken aback by some of his answers because they didn't feel super prepped. A lot of times you come in with statements, you know what you're going to say, but I tried to catch him off guard, and I even told him about a player in the press conference who told me that, right when he finished up, he said, hey, look, that's him. That's the right guy. And so he feels that right when he comes off, and he goes on to tell me stories about how that the first week he's taking the job, he's going to call as many players as he can and get them into the building and try to build a relationship with them and try to connect with them so that they can build that culture now. And he talked a lot about accountability and how time with Micah Parsons, with Rondé Barber, with Richard Sherman and Darrelle Revis kind of taught him how to hold stars accountable by showing them their good tape and also their bad tape to push them. And I think that's something the Dolphins desperately need. That was the question with the previous regime. Great play calling. Can we get it over the top with these stars and these personalities? And it seems like, at least the first impression I got from Hafley, that's a strong skill of his. So they're 0-0 right now. We're selling the hope of the future. But I do think that, for fans who are wondering who the heck are these guys, I got a more positive impression of why they hired these guys inside the room. Ultimately, a lot is going to be on the new GM, right. John Eric Sullivan. Can he find that quarterback? It does sound like they're going to move on from Tua. Now, the route of that is, can we get a trade? Do we just bite the bullet and release him? Does he stay on the roster in a competitive fashion? I think that's all coming through in time, but this is a team that they just said, we're going to draft a quarterback every year. We're going to bring competition in. And so this is their mission to get this thing right. And I think you'll see this team be built a little bit more in the trenches, a little bit more physical than the speedy Dolphins we saw in the Mike McDaniel era.
Absolutely. And did they mention how they're going to go about the rebrand? Are they going to call them the Green Bay Dolphins or the Miami Packers?
There was no consensus on a nickname. Green Bay South, whatever you want to call it. Look, they're going to be hiring coordinators and position coaches here, and I think you're going to see at least 3 or 4 other Packers coaches join them here. So, it is definitely the Green Bay way. They have not hidden from that. That's a lot of draft and develop. And so if you're a Dolphins fan, you're probably going to expect less of these splashy trade for Tyreek, trade for Jalen Ramsey moves, and more quieter off seasons built on let's build this thing through the draft and re-sign our own. So quieter off seasons, but hopefully their hope is that translates to louder January. Yeah. So that's the path we're going to see if they can make it.
I like it. Well, Cam, appreciate your time. I know you got a lot going on. Have a safe trip over to Denver. Stay warm out there, and we'll have some good football this weekend.
Absolutely. Appreciate you fellas for having me on.
We'll see you. All right. Well, there you have it. Some insight from the man, Cam Wolfe. I think something interesting that he brought up was the was the Josh Allen thing. I didn't know that was going to be a thing.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of organizations are relying on. When you look at kind of what he said was, if you have that franchise quarterback, he's got to be involved.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, even in college football, they're starting to do things like that. If you have your guy, this is the guy that you want in your organization, who you want your team to back, and who is going to take you there, right? Why not have him in the office? When you look at a guy like Tom Brady, right? Tom was in those meetings with Bill Belichick and making certain decisions. That's why now he's trying to be involved in the Raiders. That's why, because he's used to doing that and being involved. So hopefully Josh, right, can have his say and what he's kind of doing, and hopefully that's able to help him, right? He's now going to the coaching staff and everybody around him saying, hey, this is what we need. Maybe he's taking that step back and be like, this is what we're missing. I want to be in these meetings so I can figure it out and we can get that missing piece to get over the hump.
Yeah.
But that's also where I say now, right, if he's now doing that and comes back and is not able to do that, I don't think your time lasts long in Buffalo.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like they're putting all their eggs in one basket, right? I mean, there was a lot of backlash that they also got, considering like Josh didn't know about the firing of McDermott, right? So it almost feels like, shit, we got to keep Josh happy. Let's like have him involved in this. Like this is the least what we can do. But like to your point, that can end up backfiring on you. But we're about to wrap it up here. We're going to highlight our dude of the week, which is our man who we spoke about a little bit a while ago, Mr. Bo Nix. Shout out, Bo. Unfortunate injury, obviously. But he's a dog. Played through that ankle injury.
Took down Josh Allen.
And took down Josh Allen, right? With the debate last week. Who's the dude? Who's the guy? So we had to give it to Bo. He settled the debate, right? Bobby said it, right? Like, to be the dude, you got to beat the guy or some shit like that. So here he is. He's the dude of the week, Mr. Bo Nix. Shout out, Bo. He'll be, watching from the sideline, and it's Stidham weekend. Maybe Stidham will be the dude next week.
You never know. Hopefully, we'll see a good matchup with him and Drake. So.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're still watching, we appreciate it. If you're watching later on, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, YouTube, whatever works for you. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Dave will be back in studio. Hopefully, Bobby will be back next week. And Wingo's got the captain chair today. So
yeah, I'm excited, man. This is exciting to be able to break it down every week. Guys being dudes, just having fun, giving takes, giving you our information and what we know, and we'll keep it rolling every Friday at 12.
Every Friday at 12, boys. We'll see you. Have a great weekend, and as always, continue being a dude and enjoying life, having fun, and we'll see you guys next week.